So many people around the world speak English that it must be a really easy language to learn, right? I mean, there's none of this. And there's certainly none of this. So there we have it. English must be an easy language to learn. And to make my case, here are 10 reasons why. First up, the alphabet. So English may not be the rhoticus language with only 12 letters in its alphabet, but with 26 letters to learn, English certainly makes things easy to get started. Now this may not be such a big deal, you might think, but then consider languages like Cambodian with 74 letters to learn. It'll take a little bit longer. And then there's Mandarin Chinese with, and so you start to quickly appreciate the relative simplicity of languages like English just to make your life a little bit easier at the beginning. We even let you have spaces between words, so you don't have to guess where one ends and the next word begins, unlike Burmese, of course, which looks a little bit like this. Listen, when it comes to the gender wars, the English language is way ahead of the game, and it has been since around the 11th century. Now, in English, we don't gender nouns. A thing is a thing, and there's no special word ending that puts it in a gender category. A house is a house, a poem is a poem, a lemon is a lemon. A little bit like this video, some people might say. And when you're learning the names of these things and 1,000 other things, you never ever have to worry about whether those things are masculine, feminine, or neuter in English. Unlike Portuguese, for example, where words ending in A are typically feminine and words ending in O are typically masculine, until, of course, they're not. And you realise that you have to learn the gender of every single noun separately in the language. And it's not like other languages agree on what gender any particular word should be anyway. I mean, a bridge is feminine in German and masculine in Spanish. Now, if you ask me, quite seriously, noun gender is actually one of the most beautiful parts of languages, but it doesn't half make things more difficult, because knowing what the gender of a noun is, well, that's one thing, but then you then have to apply that thing in a bunch of different ways, which we'll get to later in the video, starting with... Can't remember whether a chainsaw is masculine, feminine, or neuter? Well, with English, nobody cares. Look, nobody minds if you want your chainsaw to be male or female. In English, you're going to call it the chainsaw either way. Got 13 chainsaws by chance? Well, the chainsaws. The. Nothing changes. Easy. That is if you can say the.
The. La langue entre les dents. The. Ah, non. Faites-moi the. La langue entre les dents. La langue entre les dents. Serré et the.
And it's not just a question of gender either. In languages like German, the article can change in a whole bunch of different ways. English, though, well, it keeps it simple. It's just the for definite things and a for indefinite things. Sometimes we use an if we want to get really crazy, but that's just a with n on the end, because you really needed telling that, I'm sure. No exceptions. These are the only articles in English ever. And just to put this in perspective, 40% of all languages require you to know the gender of every single noun, and these particular languages are spoken by most of the world population. The English language, a bit like the English people, just like to do their own thing, really. I sang, you sang, she sang, we sang, they sang, it sang, the band sang, the boy band sang. You get the idea. If you are English, perhaps the biggest thing you take for granted is how simple our verb conjugation is. In fact, many learners comment that English verb conjugation seems ridiculously easy compared to most other languages. Let's repeat that example in a language like Spanish, for example. Yo canté, tú cantaste, ella cantó, nosotros cantamos, ellos cantaron. Everything changes. See, in English, the subject doesn't change the verb, so you only have to learn one form of the verb, with, of course, one little exception, which is in the present tense. In English, the third person singular form changes. So you get I sing, you sing, she sings. I run, you run, he runs. But all that's happening there is one little S on the end, occasionally an ES for the sake of spelling. Let's try one with actions. Ready? I like this video. You like this video. Everyone likes this video. I subscribe to the channel. You get the idea, right? But this verb conjugation thing is a big plus for English. As I know from teaching tens of thousands of students languages like Spanish and French, verb conjugations, especially in different tenses, become the bane of their life. So English, good job on keeping it simple. When you see how troublesome Polish is, you will finally say, Olly, you are right. English is easy. The case of a noun tells us about the position and job of that noun within a sentence. Did the noun do something, or was something done to it? Is it a subject or an object? I bought a piano. I am the subject. I bought. Piano is the object. But the piano fell on my rose bushes. Now, piano is the subject. In English, regardless of what the piano's function or case is, there is only one way to spell that word, P-I-A-N-O. It doesn't change. But that's not the case in all languages, I'm afraid. You've heard of verb conjugation, but here's something you might not have heard about. Languages like Polish make you conjugate nouns as well, but we don't call it conjugation. This is something we actually call declension, but it's the same kind of idea. The word changes. In English, we say, I have a caravan. This is a caravan. I'm in the caravan. It's all caravan. But just have a look at these caravan endings in Polish. How you talk about the object determines what case it will take. Here is another example to prove the point. Like I said, fun times with Polish, and I repeat, this is really the beauty of the language, and how boring would languages be if they didn't have these features, but it don't half make it hard, which, by the way, is perfect English grammar. It's so hot. I'm hot, you're hot, we're hot, she's hot, everybody is hot. Hot is an adjective here, and you don't have to change the adjective in English ever, even in the plural. Hot people, hot summers, hot chocolates, no matter how many things are being described and no matter who or what the subject is, adjectives are not inflated in English. Now, compare this to French, where a black cat is un chat noir, a black shirt is une chemise noire with an E, black cats is des chats noirs with an S, and black shirts is des chemises noires. See what I mean? The adjectives, well, they keep changing, even though you might have noticed they all kind of sound the same. Or how about something totally different, like Slovenian? But that's nothing. Polish, our old friend Polish, has 17 forms of the word to. So far, I'm sure you'd agree that English seems to have far less overall stuff, the technical term, to memorize than many other languages. But I'm not done convincing you just yet. Now, a love story is about love. A war story is about war. But check this out. Both war and story are nouns. War is a noun, story is a noun. But English makes it really easy just to put the two nouns together to make something new. War story. Now, English is by no means the only language that does this, but it is a characteristic of the language that you can actually trace right back to Old English. The fact that it's so flexible in accepting new words into the language and then adapting them into something else. And that's created a very flexible language in the English that we know today, where you can say quite a lot with very little, often by just putting nouns together. And learners of English really like this flexibility. Lunchtime, heartache, swimming pool. Just stick those nouns together. The list is endless. Arsenal Football Club mascot. Why not just stick all those nouns together? Climate change, which, by the way, new books that we published, climate change in simple French, climate change in simple German, simple Spanish, climate change. Stick those two words together, climate change, get climate change. And in these books, you can read about the whole background to climate change in simple language, which you may like. Mentioned earlier, war story. Funnily enough, war story, the history of World War II in simple Spanish. World War II in simple French, simple German. The point is, guys, at Story Learning Press, we are doing our damnedest to create interesting material for you to read in different languages. I'll put a link below if you'd like to check out those books. Okay, now this next point will not help you so much if you're starting off with a language like Finnish or Hungarian, but if your mother tongue is French, Dutch, or another Germanic language, you will have a massive head start when you want to learn English. Look, if you are French, I just got to say thank you for all those loanwords. Cheers, guys. You gave us at least 7,000 words for English, so no complaining. Start building that tower of English vocabulary and enjoy all of those lovely déjà vu moments. Words that can be understood across languages are known as cognates, and have a look right now at this crazy list of cognates between French and English. There was a lot more where that came from, and if you happen to speak Latin, same story. If you wish you could speak Latin, well, you're also in luck, because I'm about to release a video on Latin, which is going to be super cool. Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Well, it happens to be both. This is the surf, and this is to surf. One is a noun and one is a verb, and English gives you two for the price of one with so many words I could never even get started writing them all down for you. This is love. This is poison, this is a swing, and this is a judge. But I can take those exact same nouns and turn them into actions. I can love you, poison you, swing you, or judge you, or maybe all at the same time, and they are all verbs. And when you're really stuck for a verb, you can even try inventing one out of a noun, and you'll probably get away with it. There's a good chance you will be understood, including some modern examples that I'd rather actually didn't exist, like the word to diarise. What a terrible word. Should we diarise this? But yet again, English is rather flexible in this way. Most people will understand you, even when you're performing linguistic contortions. And by the way, English natives do this all the time, because turning a noun into a verb gives it a bit of a spark.
I wolf you.
I wolf you too.
So there you go, just learn a whole bunch of nouns. TV shows, movies, videos, music, podcasts, apps, websites, even books. People learning English are spoilt for choice for resources. And to be fair, in recent years, with an accessibility of YouTube, Netflix, and so on, there is a lot more out there for languages in general. But if you've ever tried learning a less common language, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here, because not having access to the resources you need is a real obstacle. I remember trying to learn Egyptian Arabic and Cantonese back in the day. There was really very little out there at all. But to learn a language effectively, it's not just any old resources you need. You want stuff that excites you. And that's one of the core principles that we teach at Story Learning, actually. It's learning with compelling materials like stories that genuinely excite you, make you want to keep learning. It's such a powerful thing. And English learners, well, my friends, you are literally spoiled for choice. And this makes learning English an awful lot easier. But don't despair if you're learning other languages, whether it's books or entire courses. Here at Story Learning, we make it our life's mission to create language learning content that you will genuinely love, whether it's books or entire courses. And we teach over 20 languages now. There's the usual suspects, but also courses in languages like Turkish, Japanese, Korean, and there's one language coming up that begins with the letter L as well. But look, in all seriousness, having just given you 10 reasons why English is so easy, here are 10 reasons why English is ridiculously hard. I am nothing if not consistent.